How Hyundai went from joke to Jaguar killer. Imagine buying a car so cheap, so poorly made, that it literally falls apart while you're driving it. Doors that don't close properly. Engines that die on the highway. Paint that peels off after 6 months. A car so bad that comedians make fun of it on late-night TV and mechanics refuse to work on it. That was Hyundai in the 1980s. The punchline of the automotive industry. The brand nobody wanted to be seen driving. The car your broke cousin bought because it was the only thing they could afford. Today, Hyundai is beating BMW in quality ratings, outselling Volkswagen in Europe. Winning design awards that used to go exclusively to Mercedes and Audi. They've launched a luxury brand, Genesis, that competes directly with Lexus, and they're winning. Hyundai went from building the worst cars in America to building some of the best. From being laughed at to being feared by the biggest names in the industry. So how did they do it? How does a company recover from a reputation so damaged that people literally used your brand name as an insult? How do you go from joke to Jaguar killer in less than 4 decades? Today, we're going to break down one of the most dramatic turnarounds in business history and the lessons every company can learn from Hyundai's ruthless climb to the top. The disaster. When cheap meant garbage. Let's go back to 1986. Hyundai enters the American market with the Hyundai Excel, and the pitch was simple. This is the cheapest car you can buy in America. Brand new, under $5,000, affordable for everyone. And it worked. At first. In its first year, Hyundai sold over 100,000 cars in the US. People who couldn't afford a Honda or Toyota finally had an option. The Excel was everywhere. But then the problems started, and they didn't stop. The Excel had a catastrophic failure rate. Engines seized, transmissions gave out, electrical systems failed. The car rusted faster than anything on the road. Consumer Reports called it one of the worst cars they'd ever tested. J.D. Power ranked Hyundai dead last in quality and reliability, and it wasn't even close. Owners were furious. Dealerships were overwhelmed with warranty claims. Mechanics dreaded seeing a Hyundai roll into their shop because they knew it would be a nightmare to fix. The resale value collapsed. A 2-year-old Hyundai was worth almost nothing, and the joke started. What's the difference between a Hyundai and a Jehovah's Witness? You can close the door on a Jehovah's Witness. Why does a Hyundai have a rear window defroster? To keep your hands warm while you push it. Late-night comedians had a field day. Hyundai became synonymous with garbage. By the early 1990s, Hyundai's US sales had collapsed by nearly 70%. The brand was dying, and most analysts assumed Hyundai would do what other failed car companies did. Pull out of America and admit defeat. But Hyundai didn't quit. Instead, they made a decision that changed everything. The pivot, fixing the product, no matter the cost. Hyundai's leadership in South Korea understood something crucial. They couldn't market their way out of this. They couldn't rebrand their way out of this. The only way to fix a quality problem is to actually fix the quality. So they did something radical. They stopped focusing on being the cheapest and started focusing on being the best. They hired engineers from Germany and Japan, countries that knew how to build reliable cars. They completely redesigned their manufacturing process. They implemented strict quality control measures that rivaled Toyota's famous production system. But most importantly, they made a promise that shocked the entire automotive industry. In 1998, Hyundai introduced the 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, the most comprehensive warranty ever offered by a car manufacturer at that time. It was unheard of. Most companies offered 3 years or 36,000 miles. Hyundai was offering more than triple that. Critics called it a gimmick, a desperate marketing stunt, but it was actually a brilliant strategic move. The warranty sent a clear message: we're so confident in our quality now that we'll back it up with the longest guarantee in the industry. And it forced Hyundai to actually deliver, because if the cars kept breaking down, the warranty would bankrupt them. The 10-year warranty wasn't just marketing. It was accountability. Hyundai had bet the entire company on their ability to build reliable cars. And slowly, painfully, the quality started improving. The design revolution, from boring to beautiful. But reliability alone wasn't enough. Hyundai had another problem. Even when the cars stopped breaking down, they were boring, ugly, forgettable. Nobody got excited about driving a Hyundai. So in 2006, Hyundai made another game-changing decision. They hired Peter Schreier, a legendary designer who had worked at Audi and Volkswagen for decades. Schreier was responsible for some of the most beautiful cars of the 1990s, including the original Audi TT. Hyundai gave him complete freedom. His mission was simple: make Hyundai cars look and feel like luxury vehicles, but keep them affordable. It was an almost impossible task. Luxury design costs money, but Schreier understood something fundamental. Great design doesn't always cost more. It just requires more thought. The results were immediate and stunning. The 2011 Hyundai Sonata looked like a car that should cost $50,000. The Elantra looked sharper than a Honda Civic. The Genesis sedan, Hyundai's first true luxury car, looked like it could park next to a BMW and not look out of place. Suddenly, Hyundai wasn't just reliable, it was desirable. Auto journalists who had spent decades mocking the brand were now praising it. The Sonata won design awards. The Genesis was compared favorably to the Mercedes E-Class and the BMW 5 Series. Hyundai had cracked the code: reliable engineering from Japan, beautiful design from Europe, aggressive pricing from Korea. It was a combination that established luxury brands couldn't match. Genesis, the ultimate flex. But Hyundai didn't stop there. In 2015, they launched Genesis as a standalone luxury brand. Not a luxury trim level, not a fancy Hyundai. A completely separate brand designed to compete directly with Lexus, BMW, Mercedes, and Audi. The automotive world laughed. Again, how could Hyundai, a brand that 20 years earlier was building the worst cars in America, possibly compete with the most prestigious names in the industry? But Genesis wasn't a joke. The Genesis G90 sedan was compared directly to the Mercedes S-Class and came out looking competitive. The G70 sports sedan won Motor Trend Car of the Year in 2019, beating out BMW and Audi. The GV80 SUV looked like a Bentley at half the price. Genesis offered the same luxury, the same performance, the same technology, but for $20,000 to $30,000 less than the German competitors. And because it was still backed by Hyundai's reputation for reliability, buyers didn't have to worry about the car falling apart after the warranty expired. The established luxury brands suddenly had a problem. Genesis was stealing their customers. People who would have bought a 3 Series were buying a G70. People who would have bought an E-Class were buying a G80, and they were happy with the decision. Hyundai had done the impossible. They had gone from joke to legitimate luxury competitor in less than 3 decades. The lessons of the comeback. Hyundai's transformation is one of the greatest turnarounds in modern business history. They went from a brand people were embarrassed to own to a brand people actively seek out. From building cars that fell apart to building cars that outlast the competition. How did they do it? 3 things. First, they fixed the product before they tried to fix the perception. No amount of marketing can save a bad product. Hyundai understood that and invested billions into actually making better cars. Second, they made bold moves that forced them to deliver. The 10-year warranty wasn't safe. It was risky. But it worked because it held Hyundai accountable and proved they believed in their own quality. Third, they refused to accept their place in the market. When everyone said Hyundai would always be a budget brand, they built Genesis. When everyone said they couldn't compete on design, they hired the best designers in the world. They didn't accept limitations. They broke through them. Hyundai's story proves that no reputation is permanent. No failure is final. And with the right strategy, discipline, and refusal to quit, even the biggest joke can become the biggest threat. The next time you see a Hyundai on the road, remember, that brand was once a punchline. And now it's building cars that BMW, Mercedes, and Audi are genuinely worried about. Comebacks are possible. Reputations can be rebuilt, and sometimes the companies that fall the hardest end up climbing the highest. If this story inspired you, hit that like button and subscribe for more underdog stories that prove failure is only permanent if you let it be. Because in business, it's not about where you start, it's about whether you're willing to do whatever it takes to win. And Hyundai was willing.